Hey, hello, and welcome. If you are watching this live, I just want to say thank you. And if you're catching the replay, I'm also grateful for you just for showing up and checking out this topic that I'm talking about today. And the topic is this, what I call the number one problem that really inhibits, affects, stops, and keeps entrepreneurs stuck. So entrepreneurs as in service-based business owners, self-employed, you're on your own, doing your own thing. And this is a constant problem that I see. And so I'm just going to take a moment. And if you haven't seen the copy above from the text, I just want to kind of highlight some of this. So you're in business. You already know that business is not for the faint of heart. Most of you are your business. And you also know that you're being constantly tested in a variety of ways. Everything from emotionally, physically, mentally. There's so many ways that you're stretched, and there's so many different types of things that come up. Everything from, holding fast to your standards, from communicating your boundaries, and also holding fast to those boundaries, because boundaries are really, really easy until someone presses against them, right? You're also here today because I know you have a dream and you want to make it happen with your business. And most likely, we talked about this earlier this week, you probably get exhausted of all the marketing, all the messaging, all the gurus, all the courses, all of this, all of that, and all of these voices telling you what to do in your business, how to do it in your business, how to market, how to show up, how to craft your packages, how to do your pricing, everything from your branding colors to which font you should use. Should you be doing Instagram Reels? Should you be on TikTok? You need to be on LinkedIn. All these different voices. And what is so fascinating about this is many times, if you're working on your own, it's kind of fascinating that people who have never worked on their own, who are employees working for someone else, are giving you advice on how to do that. Or for example, when I moved to Mexico, I've been here over 4 years now, I literally had people giving me advice, telling me different things like this is dangerous, you need to do that. And 95% of those folks had never been out of the country, which there's no shame in that. But think about this. I was going to have an experience, or am having an experience that they've never had, and yet they're giving me advice on it. So I just want you to think about that for a minute with yourself, of all these different voices. The marketing gurus, they don't know you personally. They don't know who you are. Many times they're wanting to put us on a factory line, and they're trying to push their funnel on us, and they get us through the steps, and they tell us their vulnerability stories to endear us to them, and all that sort of stuff. And there's just so many voices, whether they're from people who know you or just gurus or so-called gurus that you're seeing online. So all this is to illustrate we get bombarded as business owners. And one of the most important things in your life is your energy as a business owner. So why is your energy important? And especially, why is staying on track important? Why is avoiding this big problem that I'm going to tell you about important? I know this is kind of a big 4-minute lead-in to what I'm talking about. Just stick with me here. So think about this. You have really got to stay on track because you want to impact and serve more people. You want to build yourself. You want to build your business. You truly want to make a difference. And you want to generate great revenue. You don't just want to be stuck at just covering your bills, or just covering your bills and then doing some savings, or cover your bills, a little extra savings, and then investing. You really probably want to get to actually building wealth. And wherever you are with that right now, of course, is fine. However, there's such a strong case that you and we have got to stay on track. So how do we do this? How do we cut out all this noise, all this clutter, and even me, who I have like 8 or 9 tabs open right now. How do we do this? How do we cut out the noise? And it really comes down to this. Trust yourself. You've probably heard this several times, and yet I want to redirect your attention back to this. My peak performance partner, Rachel Freeman Sowers, and I, we have been constantly talking, dialoguing, exploring, brainstorming this whole gift of trusting yourself and what that can create in your life. Now, I'm talking about in the context of business. You might explore applying this to your entire life. But for now, we're talking about business. Trust yourself. These are 2 very simple words. And I just want to tell you, you might be thinking, yeah, I've heard this before, and you're going to quickly dismiss it. And yet, I really want you to take a moment and think about, are you really trusting yourself in your business? Because, think about it. As we grow up, we go through school, and we want to be the good boy, the good girl. We want to get good grades. We want to do all that stuff. And what's happening? We're listening to someone else. We're listening to the authority figure. They're telling us how to behave, so we behave that way. Get in a single file line. We get in a single file line. Don't chew gum in class. We don't chew gum in class. Don't do that. Don't do that. All these voices, authority figures. And as we're moving through life, a lot of that it kind of flows into our lives in a way that's really out of bounds. Or we could say it shows up in a way that is not really serving us. It's not helping us really create a fulfilling life, a fulfilling business. Now, the true work in all of this from the video today is trusting yourself. Now, in a few minutes, I want to give you 2 examples, but first I want to cover this. I want to sit back a little bit here. There are several cons of not trusting yourself. If you look through a video camera at your life, you can think about, what would I see that proves to me that I'm not trusting myself? And what do I see that proves to me that I am trusting myself? Or if I polled different people in my life, your closest friends, to what extent do you think I trust myself? You're going to get some phenomenal answers. And of course, you're not looking, you're going to trust yourself more than their answers. We're just sort of illustrating that can give you, kind of take off some blinders in some different ways. So what are these cons, these negative things that do not help you when it comes to trusting yourself? Well, first, this gets so old so fast, is second guessing yourself. I've had my business for 8 years. Ideally, not ideally, I have stayed grounded and focused in social media marketing. Now, that's a huge, big, crazy world. And then in 2017, I moved into digital courses, right? One about LinkedIn. And then 1 or 2 years later, I released a different course. But literally, I have stayed, my feet have stayed in the same place, social media marketing. And, there's connective pieces that connect with that, like lead gen. But get this, in these 8 years, I have seen super smart business owners not trust themselves. So for example, here's an example, like the sales coach turns into a Bitcoin investor who turns into a keto weight loss coach for women, so on and so forth. Or, you've probably seen these things with different service providers where they're kind of doing this for a year or 2, but then they're doing that. But then on their YouTube channel, they're releasing something completely unrelated to their business. And, you see a lot of a lack of congruence, a lack of alignment. And especially, if you're showing up online, the people want to know what you're talking about. And are you going to keep talking about it? Are you going to be here in a month? Are you going to be here in a year? Are you going to update? Are you going to keep staying in the best practices? Are you going to participate, be engaged in your industry? And so this con of not trusting yourself is, I would say, the biggest one is probably the constant second guessing. well, this is my niche. I'm really niching down on chiropractors. It's not going so well, and it didn't go well for 6 months. And then they jump over, I'm going to target dentists, or I'm going to target coaches. And there's just constant second guessing. They're moving all over the place. And most of the time, what's happening is you're really not going deep in one thing. So if you're feeling it like me, I want to leave behind any second guessing because it just gets too old too fast, and I want to live my life and I want to be in the present. Now, but wait, there's more cons of second guessing. Is that constant question, is this the right thing to do? Should I be doing this? Or comparing yourself. Well, so-and-so's doing that. Maybe I should be doing that. They're starting a membership. Maybe I should start a member. They're starting a mastermind. Maybe I should start it. And it's just sort of this song and dance. And it's actually a really, really lame dance. So you want to remove yourself, to step out of that as quickly as possible. Furthermore, when you don't trust yourself, it's hard to show up as yourself authentically online or really in any way. You know, there's kind of this underlying energy that people can feel. They just get that something's a bit off here, you know? And finally, I would say it is disrespectful to yourself to not trust yourself. You have a wealth of experiences, you know, you have, think about what people have experienced. Think about the things that you have overcame in your life. You know, all these different things, this culmination, this incredible, intricate, amazing thing that is you. And why would you want to disqualify yourself? Or why would you want to disrespect yourself? That is what not trusting yourself does. You know, the more that I see conversational leads, students trust themselves, the more I see private clients trust themselves, the more I trust myself, the more those who are close to me, my business besties, are trusting themselves. Literally, the more I see their businesses grow, the more they grow, the more their businesses grow, the better results their clients are getting, lots of stuff. So the wonderful, incredible things about trusting yourself, one is this: you trust yourself to the extent that you can figure it out as you go. You can figure it out as you go, which is probably literally one of the best skills to have, being adaptable, adapting to the new things that come up for you as you're evolving, as you're changing, as your business is changing, all those things. You can figure it out as you go. When you really get that skill hammered down, I would dare say you're financially set for life. What else? Trusting yourself. Well, one thing to know is hardly any decision is irreversible. So there's that. Next, you give yourself permission to know that you might be doing one thing for a season and then something else for a different season. So for a big season of this business, I never did live videos. And now I'm trusting myself in a different way. And so I'm doing live videos because I'm finding I'm enjoying it more. I'm getting different comments and messages in the background, things I've never really seen before on any other types of posts or any content I've been putting out there. So this is a new season. And yet that season still relates to who I am and what I've been doing with my business for years. Let me give you two examples of how trusting myself has shown up recently. Hillary Torn, one of my new business besties, she has a phenomenal company called IntroWise. And we're doing an event together next week. So Hillary said, hey, Eric, I would love for you to send me some quotes about lead generation, conversational leads, authenticity, permission-based marketing. And my first thought was like, I told her, sure, I'll do that, no problem. And then my first thought, think about this, was, you know what? I really have some great quotes somewhere. I don't know if it's in a Google Doc or maybe it's just saved on my MacBook Pro somewhere, but they're really good lead generation quotes. Blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden, no. I decided to trust myself. And I decided to look within. You know, this isn't something like she requested this. This is not something that's been 10 minutes in the making. It's been 8 or more years in business that this has been in the making. And so I literally gave myself some permission and space, decided to look within, and within maybe 5-10 minutes, I had these quotes that I felt incredible about. And then she messaged back and she said, I love these so much. I can't wait to release these on IntroWise's social media. So that is the power. Now think about that. I could have copied and pasted 5 quotes from other people that I do not know personally, right? And instead, I sent quotes that were like from my life experience. What have I seen with students? What have I seen with myself, with private clients? And so that was a huge win. And what can happen is we get so ingrained with not trusting ourselves, we don't even realize when it's happening. So it's almost like what Stephen Covey says, between stimulus and response, we want to put that space. Before something happens and we catapult to a reaction, we want to have that space, kind of like that breather of just okay, what is there really happening here? What do I want to happen here? Am I really trusting myself? So those quotes came out. That was a win. Let me tell you about another one. In January of this year, I really felt like, okay, I love the direction of my business, and there's something else I just want. I felt like I don't want a freebie or a lead magnet. That's where someone puts in their email and they get some type of content from you, a PDF, a video training, or more. And I felt like I just don't want to do just a regular freebie. Not right now. Maybe in 2 months or so I will. And what finally came to me was like, I want to just create something that's really interesting for people, that's a bit above and beyond. And so I created something that what I call the Conversational Leads Video Vault. Because I thought, as I go, I'm seeing all these interesting strategies or techniques and just these small, quick ways that people who get clients for a living, that they can win, that they can start conversations, or these are questions. And so I created the Video Vault with a primary focus on LinkedIn, how-to videos, but also things of like, what are simple lead generation strategies? What are simple techniques that I can use? What's something I can put into action now? And then as I've created more things, I've kept putting them in the Video Vault, which also has written trainings. And it's just a simple, fun way for me to interact with people. Also, they get to know how I teach, how I train, and all that. But that would not have came about if I were listening to some of the top people in digital marketing. That wouldn't have came about. I would have just seen what they're doing and thought, oh, I'll just put my little spin on it and do that. Now, lots of people do video vaults. However, mine to me felt different, unique. I haven't seen this done before with anyone who has my types of courses, right? And so that was another example of trusting myself. I didn't know what was going to happen. I did not know if it would be well received, and it has been well received. It's been really enjoyable and fun for people to get into it, get some great questions answered, get some simple trainings, and literally they can just jump in and I know they'll get results. And that's just something I constantly offer. It's always available. So those are 2 examples of trusting myself. Now we're rounding about 20 minutes. If you've stayed with me this long, I really should send you a Starbucks card or something. Or you can come to Merida in the Yucatan and I'll buy you a churro. Actually, I'll buy you a taco and a churro if you watch this whole video and come and visit me. So trust yourself. This is going to help you stay present. This is going to help you eliminate all the second guessing. And this is going to really help you break, first of all, identify those old patterns, but also after you identify them, break those old patterns, and then really shift yourself into this new gear of constantly trusting yourself. Now, the book I'm recommending is, you'll never guess the title. It's actually called Trust Yourself. And I'm probably 25% of the way through this book. It's by a wonderful author. Her name is Melody Wilding. And actually, I tagged her in a post today on LinkedIn, and she was so gracious to leave me a comment. So thank you for that, Melody. I am definitely encouraging you, if you're really stuck with this whole theme of trusting yourself, if it feels disorienting, if you're perhaps a very sensitive person and you're used to being a rule follower, being the good boy, the good girl, always having kind of that conditioning following you, I'm inviting you to get a copy of her book. Phenomenal read. You're going to be able to see and identify some of these patterns. And what's so incredible about this book is, all in my experience of what I've read so far, she's redirecting you to yourself. Get back to yourself. Get back to yourself. I would say this whole challenge is about a constant redirection. Constant redirection. You've heard the illustration that every coach in the world has used, because it's like mandatory, about a plane that's flying to a destination. 90% of the time it's off course, right? And so it's constantly getting back on course. And really, with trusting yourself, it is a constant redirecting your attention, redirecting your focus, redirecting your respect. And when you start doing that, I promise you're going to see some phenomenal results in your life and in your business. So I want you to check out that book. And then finally, what is happening October 13th? Probably a lot of things, but my favorite thing is happening with Hillary Torn of IntroWise. We're doing a LinkedIn live event. We have, I think we just crossed 150 people registered, and we are going to talk about authenticity and using LinkedIn for lead generation. So how do you authentically start conversations? How do you trust yourself with your own lead generation? I know a lot of you're following certain formulas. Maybe you're doing cut and paste templates, and it's just not you. And listen, if you do not feel good about your lead generation and you're doing it on your own, you're not going to do much of it. Like, why are you going to do something that you feel bad about doing, or it feels maybe creepy, it feels inauthentic, it feels blah? When you really have healthy energy around your own lead generation techniques, which I really prefer to call starting conversations, because that is all we are doing, is starting conversations. And sometimes a conversation leads to a sales conversation, and the sales conversations lead to clients. I always say your number one job as a service-based entrepreneur is to start conversations. So all that is, as I begin to ramble, is if you want to learn authentic ways of how to trust yourself and start conversations using LinkedIn, and I might throw in actually another technique, super simple ones, technique, strategies, then this training is for you. It's going to be fun. It'll be about an hour. We're going to do a question and answer time as well. And actually in the group, we have a few questions that have gone out, just because we want to get to know you more. We want to see what you're struggling with. What questions do you have? And really, the event is focused on you. Now, the event is only on LinkedIn. It's exclusively going to be hosted there. And then if you can't make it live on Wednesday, October 13th, we're going to Hillary. She's overseeing this part. Thank you, Hillary. But Hillary's going to show you how to catch the replay. So you will be able to watch the replay as well. So boom, there you have it, 24 minutes. And I hope it was as fun as eating a hot chocolatey, gooey chocolate chip cookie, which I have on my mind for some reason. But thank you so much for being a part of this. I appreciate you being here in whatever capacity you are. And here is to you trusting yourself. I'm Eric Z. Johnson, and I will catch you later.